Now, LBC News has learned about the scale of so-called cowboy builders exploiting people in the UK. Experts say the cost runs into the billions. Let's speak now live to Rico Wojtulewicz, Head of Policy and Market Insight at the National Federation of Builders. Rico, thanks very much for joining us. How concerned are you by this practice?
Well, it's devastating because it just makes industry look bad when the majority of projects are done really well. And I guess cowboy builders is one element, but quality always needs to come first. And we don't have enough consumer protection in all parts. And the tail of construction is pretty long, so people can be caught out.
And you say that this is obviously concerning, and people are reporting they're being ripped off for thousands of pounds. Just tell us more about the sheer scale of this.
Well, an extension and some renovation in your home could be the biggest purchase you have in quite some time, apart from the house itself. So the scale, I mean, I don't think it's as huge as we think, as is reported, but it's big enough to be a major concern. And if one person is impacted by someone that either can't do the job properly, doesn't understand the job, or is just simply there to rip somebody off, well, that's just not good enough.
And 37% of adults have hired an unreliable or unqualified builder. How does this happen? How are these people able to exploit people in this way?
Well, quite often it's on price. So in Australia, as an example, they've got a licensing scheme. When 29% of work is won by unlicensed tradespeople, and that's because people often put price above quality. And I think that in part, it's very difficult for someone to understand what is good and what's bad construction, because you trust an expert, and that's the way we operate in most of our lives. And I think that the way we are going, we're not going to fix the issue, because there is a certain element we've got to educate the consumers to ask more questions, and I think that can be done in a many number of ways rather than just say having a license.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would definitely be a good idea amongst other things that people are calling for on this. Well, just tell us then, what would your advice be? You know, if I was looking to possibly get an extension done or get some work done, what would your advice be to anybody who's looking to hire a tradesperson?
Well, look, there is an insurance that basically every builder has, which is called public liability insurance. That's not the one. They should have that, but that's not the one you want to ask about. Ask them if they've got professional indemnity insurance. That's the one that covers the work if it's found to be deficient. The second thing I'd always do is search, is there part of a trade federation? That's useful, because you can phone that trade federation and ask questions about them. Ask them questions. A good tradesperson, yeah, they're busy, but they should answer all the questions. But there's another really important factor here that it often gets overlooked. If you're doing an extension, you're probably going to need building regulations. You need to meet building regulations, which means that they will have to come off to either sign it off, or the builder will sign off to say they've met them. Speak to your local building control officers and see whether those things are being met, whether those works require them to come and check it. They're great building control officers. They will tell you instantly, and you can find all the information on the website. And I know that feels like a lot, but if you're going to get a massive piece of work done and you're going to spend a lot of your money, it's worth making those checks on the work that should be done. And again, Trade Federation, and ask the builder questions. A good builder will not mind, and never pay halfway, never pay the whole full fee up front. Have maybe a phased payment scheme, so you're not paying them and they can't just run away. No good builder will rip you off. But remember, definitely that professional indemnity insurance. Ask them if they've got it, and if they look at it like you're mad, maybe find somebody else.
Great advice, Rico. Thanks so much. That's Rico Wojtulewicz, Head of Policy and Market Insights at the National Federation of Builders. Thanks for joining us on LBC News.